We are back, everybody. Thank you so much for being patient. We are experiencing some very major technical difficulties, But we were just about to introduce Vanya and Shay, two other people who have found themselves at the Bilgewater Tavern. They have entered in to the front door, passing by a table outside of four different individuals who seem to know each other. And upon entering the establishment, having exchanged a little bit of dialogue between themselves, when you enter the main door, you see a beast folk woman, Tabaxi, a cat-like individual who has spotted kind of orangish fur with a bit of white here and there to accent her smile bright. Her whiskers seem to kind of curl into a bit of a flourish, and she smiles at you. It seems that her attire indicates that she is in fact the maiden, the bar maiden of this particular establishment. And she leans over the counter with an elbow kind of leaning up against it and kind of smiles at you and says, "What can I get you?"
Well, something mild, not too strong, but with a little bit of a pinch, whatever you'd suggest. Maybe?
Ah, you want some of that famous bilge water, don't you?
I mean, maybe not bilge water exactly, but something similar?
That's what the ale in this tavern's called, my love.
Yes, just a bit spicy, just a little bit spicy.
And for you, lass, she looks over to you, Vanya.
Uh, you know what surprised me? I'm in a good mood for surprises tonight.
I got just the thing. The table in the corner, through that door, is open. You should be just fine sitting there. And as
Thank you.
you and as the two of you are about to go through that door into the larger dining area, you see an individual who looks in full plate, it looks like. This person stands rather tall, has a seems a giant wrench and a shield strapped to his back. Rune, you're coming in just as two individuals are going towards the main dining area. And the beast folk woman, she kind of looks to you and says, she kind of tilts her head kind of curiously, kind of looks you up and down. You're an interesting one.
Rune does the same analysis very quickly. As he does so, his eyes hone in on her like camera shutters before returning back to the original position. Is that so? Why do you say so?
Are you... You're a strange one. Are you... An automaton?
Perhaps. I'm here on business. Could you perhaps show me to a seat?
Just through that door.
Very well.
And she kind of points you to the door next to the counter.
Room is... He walks with a very specific stoic gait. In a lot of ways, it doesn't seem robotic in how he walks, but rather a very appointed, organic figure. Almost as if a knight wearing armor. And when he stops, whenever he stops and stands in any sort of environment, he does a sort of a quick scan of the area, determining what other figures are doing in the premises, seeing who is where. He has a very analytical atmosphere about him. Distant, for sure. And so it's easy to see and view him as purely automatic. But he isn't. At least, not that he knows of. He isn't sure what it is. He sits down and he waits for the guildmaster, Orman Ironhand, to arrive as well. We're here conducting business.
Orman hasn't arrived as of yet. You both have come on separate vessels in that particular regard. He's meant to meet you here in that regard. But he hasn't arrived as of yet. So you go to the free table that you see, and when you enter the room, you see that there are two individuals at one table and two individuals at another, both of which seem to be separate groups. But aside from the two women that you see in the room, you see two gentlemen. A couple of gentlemen who look somewhat out of place for this particular place. They're dressed in leathers but they seem like they're not city folk. Kinwin, River, why don't you introduce to us who you what you look like, and all of that.
I have a long brown braided hair going back, goatee, leaves made into like wrist guards, and this represents a future look that I'm gonna sew this design into a leather armor later on. I have a cape made from the pelt of a wolf from my first solo hunt, and my vestment woven by kobolds depicting doppel imagery on it, and my quarterstaff that I use as a walking stick that is not only clearly a tree branch, but is growing leaves from it.
And these very leaves are very much alive, and through, you're not entirely sure how, but through no intervention of yourself, this particular branch seems to bud and lose leaves with the day and the night. And then there's River. the other beast folk of this particular in this particular establishment. River, why don't you give us a picture of what it is that you look like?
So you see a tall, I would say lanky beast folk who is orange and black with tiger stripes, and he is wearing some leathers, not covering too much, uh, except for his left arm is completely covered in a cape made out of some striped fur of unknown origin.
Two of you are sitting together, waiting for your food as well. It smells delicious, whatever it is. Maybe some kind of soup? Seems like they only serve one kind of food, aside from the bread that might be at your table as well.
Well, it should.
Oh, I was just going to say, you've been here probably the longest. You see two women enter this larger but cramped main dining area and sit at a table by themselves, and a rather large person wearing what seems to be full plate metal armor. There's almost nothing that you can see that would indicate that there's even a person underneath. It looks completely metal, with a giant wrench and a shield strapped to its back.
Fascinating.
As Rune is waiting for the guildmaster, he's gonna analyze the different figures within the room and kind of get a read. What he's mostly looking for is, he understood he was here to talk business, so he's wondering if not Mr. Ironhand is here, then maybe the other party is.
Perhaps. You see two women. One is a rather tall elf woman with dark hair. The other is a shorter human woman, also with dark hair, pale and freckled. And in the other corner of the room is a beast folk man, and it seems to be elfin. He's certainly got a long face like an elf. And outside you saw a group of four. Two giant kin, a tiefling, and a halfling, you think.
And Shay is like staring in fascination at the robot. At the metal.
River
person.
would also be kind of eyeing.
Just like wonder. Just like
Vanya's probably given him a couple of glances by now, just curious.
Vanya, have you ever seen anything like that before?
No, I take it you haven't either.
No, I don't think so.
Not any that look like that, anyway.
I guess to explain more of what he looks like, the armor is dark. It doesn't appear to be any specific metal that is identifiable. None that most of you have seen. It doesn't look like steel or iron, but it is a dark metal. And sort of gleams like obsidian stone. One of the things about it is that between the parts and pieces, and on certain details, you notice there is this yellow glow to it. his eyes also have this glow, and on incident, as you make eye contact with him, you see the eyes shudder, almost like a camera zooming in.
Oh. Jay's gonna go right back to her drink.
After saying hi.
Mm-hmm. There's this awkward little, oh, hi.
River's gonna stand up and walk over to Rune. Senor, you are most fascinating.
Rune looks at the backseat. Is that so? I've been hearing that a lot today.
I have not seen something like you before.
There are many who wear armor.
No, I can see in your eyes. That is not flesh. Would you like to sit with us and have a drink?
Between all of the figures in the room, Rune decides to stand up. He holds out his hand. You may call me Rune.
I am River.
And he shakes. Are you perhaps the customer, contractee that I and my guildmaster were here to meet?
I do not think so.
I see. Rune is going to... He's kind of uncertain about social affairs. The sheer stoicism and, well, lack of having a mouth and face for expressions makes it hard to tell, but he's not sure whether or not he should engage at this time. So he's going to go ahead and roll, if I could, kind of get like an insight on the group that he's being invited to.
Okay. Then River, make me a persuasion, and Rune, make me an insight.
That is a 7. Not very good.
I win by a little. 8.
I'm not being persuasive, but I'm also not like doing anything shady.
You see that River is maybe equally as socially awkward. He seems a little off-put, but he doesn't mean anything by it, if that makes any sense. He doesn't seem like he's a shady individual. And you've met shady individuals in your life.
Oh, yeah. Rune decides to join him. He nods and holds his hand out as if for River to lead him.
And River goes back to the table where Kinwin is, takes a seat.
Which
Just
isn't
kinda,
terribly far, it's a couple steps.
Yeah, just kind of pats the table in front of the seat where Rune can sit.
Rune sits down. You can tell from the way he sits, he's probably more comfortable standing in general. It's always as with like one leg out, as if to get up on a moment's notice. He looks to the other individual at the table, hearing between you two. Neither of you are from this area, are you?
No.
Kingdom of Argyle. Twilight Grove.
I am truly from Dreydith, but I have been moved around, you could say.
See. It's very distant lands. What brings you to the Goyera archipelago?
To connect with my sister tribes, to learn about what is.
I owe Kinwin a great debt. I am traveling as a friend.
See. I'm here on business. Though I do not mind the company. I have not introduced myself to you, sir. He holds out his hand to Kinwin. Room.
I hesitate to shake it. Seem unnatural. Not sure what to.
I am from closer lands. Polcaster.
Vanya and Shay, when he says Colcaster, it's not a large room. You can definitely hear him speaking out loud.
Did it come off as quiet?
What's that?
Did it come off as quiet?
Well, it's a small enough room that speaking out loud, everyone can hear you.
Okay. But I brought myself here for work.
Well, Shay's definitely paying attention, but it would seem rude to interrupt.
Same with Vanya.
And what type of work, if you don't mind indulging?
Shipsmithing. Engineering. Travel technology, as it were.
Very interesting.
If you were in need of work, I imagine my guildmaster would be interested in hiring new hands.
Anya, do you think you think it would be like hero work? Dead serious. Dead serious question.
Hey, what kind of fantasy world do you live in? I said engineering.
Like, that's maybe his job, but maybe they do other things too. Or her job, I don't know.
You can always go ask.
I don't know, do you think that would be proper? Or not? We haven't been, like, invited to the table.
Well, you're curious, go on. And she says it's just purely for her own entertainment at this point.
So Shay will stand up and brush herself off, make sure her clothes are all straight, and then she'll kind of take a couple steps over and she'll just be like, sorry, excuse me, I heard something about work. I think she'll look back at Vanya. We might be interested. Maybe. Sorry, I'm Shay. And she'll hold out a hand.
Rune will take the initiative, reach out, and shake it immediately. Rune.
Oh, very intense. Hello.
Hello. Oh, I am River. That is Kidman.
Where do you hail from?
Oh, I am from Colcaster, actually.
Colcaster. Same as myself. I'm certain now that Iron Hand would be happy, to meet you all.
And you see that there's the tabaxi barmaid kind of comes back into the room, has some drinks in her hands. It's a small world, isn't it?
You're so.
Oh, I only have so many hands. I forgot yours. She kind of sets all the drinks down and kind of points to you, Rune. I'll be back in a lot.
I do not need it. Thank you.
No, I insist. And she goes back to the kind of side room that's attached to this larger dining area, and seems to disappear behind a set of double doors behind the bar.
Apparently, she does not know that you are Alto McKenna.
Shay will
Is-
just go grab her chair and scoot it over. And be like,
That's it.
Vanya, see? Making friends.
It's about that point Vanya would join her. She over her chair as well.
Welcome.
Pleasure to meet you all. Vanya.
River.
But
Rune goes for the handshake again. Rune.
And she's gonna shake it.
It's firm, but all of you would have noticed that it is cold metal. But there is a firmness, like a confident personality behind the handshake.
If you don't mind my asking, what kind of work?
At this time, I understand that a lot of it involves working near the docks. But I myself and the guildmaster are trained mostly in the engineering and smith work, appointed to sail ships, both airship and water alike.
Oh, is it a lot of heavy lifting? Because I'm not particularly good at heavy lifting.
Heavy lifting is a bit touch and go for me at this moment.
It is that, but there also involves inventory management.
That I could be good at.
I understand it might be pleasing to those who are interested in information or networking travel. Many of our smiths tend to leave Goyera Archipelago with intents of travel after meeting individuals who come through the guild, customers, and whatnot. You might find the means of transportation yourselves. But it also helps improve in any sort of skills that you wish to develop.
Well,
That
developing
sounds
new
interesting.
skills does sound interesting.
Yes, indeed.
My interest is in the development of sciences across the landscape. So I find the work to be satisfying. And what of yourself?
Sorry.
He holds out a hand. Please.
Oh, but, I'm kind of hoping for an adventure. I know we're looking to travel essentially. to move on, I think.
Something like that.
Not that Bilgewater isn't wonderful or anything, and she'll kind of look around carefully.
You may perhaps find passage. Are all of you just passing through?
Most part, we are.
It's about that moment that you hear a shriek from outside. Like a woman's shriek. All of you. Those of you outside and those of you inside.
River is on his feet immediately and is going to go out and check.
Where did the shriek come from?
Outside behind the building. And I need all of you to roll initiative.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, hold on.
18.
Dirty 20.
15 plus 3, 18.
Okay. I'm going to be asking you all for that one more time, so I'm going to start.
7 on the die.
I'm going
What
to.
do I add to it?
That would be your dexterity modifier.
X. Okay, so 6.
Or
All right. Darius, your initiative?
19.
19.
1-9.
Okay. Kinwin. Sorry, Kinwin, what was your initiative?
1.
1? Vanya.
4.
4? Shay.
20.
20. River.
18.
And Lagan.
18.
Ooh, who has the higher dex?
River,
I have a plus
probably.
3.
Like I said, River probably.
Okay. Cool beans. So it'll go Shay, Darius, River, Lagan, Vanya, and Kinwin. And then NPCs in that order. But... So...
Okay.
So... I'm gonna run towards it.
So Shay is gonna go into this room. That's about as far as you can get. It's about the door here.
Yep, I'll use all my movement to go see what is up.
Okay. And upon because I didn't want to open the doors over here too much because it's card stock and it's real bad. But what you see when you look out the doors, you see the barmaid is over here. But there seems to be other creatures. Looks like jellyfish. And so that is what you see when you peer out the door. You see a blue one, a couple of blue ones kind of creeping up around the edge here that are kind of climbing up the side of the side of the space, and a red one attached to the barmaid.
As she gets up to the door and she sees that, she'll just like kind of scream back into the room. They're like flying jellyfish. That's it.
Next up is Darius.
Darius is going to,
You're right here.
can I get to, like, the corner around the outside? Can I get to
About right here?
be able to peek? No, further, like, down towards the screen.
About right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get inside. Get behind Shay, and you, from your line of sight, you would see this blue jellyfish right here.
I mean, if I've got, does it look like it's hostile towards whatever's out there, or is it doing anything?
It seems to kind of be hovering there for a moment, almost a little confused, almost as if it's looking for something. But upon when it kind of turns to face ish, Shay, it almost looks like it's going to be moving towards her next.
I'm just gonna hold an attack. I'm gonna hold my short bow attack to, if it does anything hostile, either moving towards Shay or any hostile like action, I shoot it.
It hasn't done one as of yet, but
Yep.
you still can if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna hold my action to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold
If
your
it
action.
does anything hostile, yeah.
Okay, River.
He is going to run towards the door. He's going to use feline agility to double his movement.
Okay. And where are you headed?
If he can get to Shay, if not past her.
Okay. You can get to about where Darius is, yeah. And your line of sight would put you to seeing this guy right here.
About how far away is that?
That would be roughly 20 feet.
Right. I am going to use Thorn Whip to grab onto it and pull it.
Okay, does that require an attack roll?
Yes, it does.
Alright, roll to hit.
12 plus 4 is 16.
16 will hit.
It'll do 2 points of piercing damage, but if it is large or smaller, I can pull it up to 10 feet.
You can indeed pull it closer. It's a small creature.
Yep.
And so you kind of...
So he just kind of, he dashes into the room, throws his arm out, just a vine shoots out, grabs onto this jellyfish, and he pulls it in towards the door.
Alright. You can actually get it inside the door and across the... right next to Shay if you want to put it there.
Yeah, I can put it there.
Alright. Any bonus action?
No. No bonus action.
Alright, Lagan.
Lagan would have drawn his warhammer and followed Darius.
Follow Darius inside.
Is there a way to get around there from behind? Or do I have to go through?
You don't have to go through. You can go around the stairs.
Yeah, I would make the quickest way around 30 feet.
Okay. So 30 feet would put you about right here. And
Okay.
you do have another blue jellyfish right next to you.
Well, let's see here. Alright, How many is that the only one close to me, or is there any more within 15 feet of me?
You see this one here? This one's about 15 feet away from you.
Right.
And you don't have line of sight on the one on the inside.
That's fine. If they're both within 15 feet, I am going to cast Thunder Wave.
Thunder Wave is a box from a point, right? Like from a
15-foot cube centered on myself. That's why I
Centered.
asked with... Yes.
So 15-foot cube is 15
7.5
feet across.
feet. Yeah, it won't reach the second one. I'll just get that
No.
first one.
Yeah, I'll just get the first one here. Okay.
But that is a Constitution saving throw. 13 or higher.
DC 13. Okay. Passes.
Okay.
And what's the
Okay.
damage?
Let's see. 2d8. So it's only going to take half damage.
Yep.
But that's going to be 14.
Okay, half to 7.
Half to 7.
That flattens that jellyfish.
Flat.
It kind of goes splat against the because there's another building that's right here. You guys go splat against the wall of that building.
Okay. And let's bonus action, I'm going to cast Sanctuary on myself.
You already spent a first level spell on Thunder Wave, didn't you?
Bonus,
Yes,
Sanctuary is a
See,
bonus action.
Right, but you can only cast one spell and one cantrip in the same turn.
Yeah.
You cannot do 2 level 1 spells or higher in the course of a turn.
Oh.
I can't see the one that got pulled inside.
Nope.
So I don't know it's there.
Nope.
Okay.
But you probably about have 5 feet more of movement if you want it.
I'll move 5 feet closer.
Alright. You're next to the grub tub.
Okay.
It's my turn. Get this guy over this way. And that does it for their turn. Next is Rune.
Okay. So, it's kind of hard for me to tell from the topside camera. Where is a location that there are a couple of these jellyfish and they are like they don't have any other creatures around them. They're just all jellyfish area.
You don't see any from your vantage point. You might be able to see through the door to this guy right here next to Shay.
Okay, then let me move to a vantage point. I can actually see what's going on.
So you can get into this cramped space. And then you have eyes on this guy and you have eyes on this guy. And this guy from afar. Sorry,
I don't know what this guy and this guy and this guy means.
You have eyes on this guy, which is a red jellyfish, and eyes on this guy, it's a blue one, and eyes on this one, right next to Shay.
Okay. First things first, upon entering the room, Rune is more or less going to really quickly analyze to see if he knows what these things are. So,
Yes, I will allow you to do that. That is going to be a history check. No,
Easy.
that's a free action there for you.
all right. So 12 plus 5.
17. You know, these are mana wars.
What the
They
hell are they doing out of the water?
they do have a slight kind of floating speed. They are particularly aberrant in nature. And they like to feast on people's brains, the red ones especially.
Don't like that. All right, Rune is going to look at the red one. And he is going to... He's going to take out the wrench, pull it from his back, and just start smacking the thing.
The red one you're not in range of.
Not?
No, you're right here. And the red one's right here. The nearest red one. So you can do a ranged attack on it.
Turned out harder than I thought. I'm gonna be honest, the top-down thing is really hard for me.
It's the only perspective I can do. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I was prepared. I was not prepared.
You can hold your action if you want to.
I'm gonna hold my action.
In case any of them get close, because you're not quite close enough to this blue one next to Shay, because this counter's in the way, unless you want to crawl on top of the counter.
No, actually, I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Seeing that Shay is right next to this blue one, Rune's gonna cast Sanctuary on Shay.
Okay. Sanctuary is now on Shay. Next one. Next turn is the blue guys. Blue guys have, one guy that can move up to here, so I'm going to attack Lagan. That is a natural 1.
That's not going to do it.
This guy's kind of moving up right here. This guy's kind of moving up right here. And then the one next to Shay. That is a 2. That is not going to hit. So, that is the blue guy's turn. Vanya.
Vanya is going to move in and have her longbow ready.
Okay. This front room's getting pretty crowded. You're right here. But, you can get in behind a river. You can squeeze. Or kind of move right here and get a vantage point on this blue one next to Shay.
Yeah, that works.
So make your attack roll.
5.
That is not going to hit, sadly.
No.
For the one that went after Shay, would my held action have triggered?
Yeah. But you are... Let's see where... Yeah, you're right here, Darius. You do have a bit of a reach to be able to get to it.
It's a short bow, so
Okay.
ranged.
It's a range. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
19.
That will hit. Roll damage.
And with Shay in melee, give me sneak attack.
Yes, it will.
Alrighty. That will be 14 damage.
That is going to pop that little guy. All right. Next is Kinwin. You're kind of way back over here still. If you're talking, I don't hear you.
Can I get to any of the slimes?
There's not really any within your range, in line of sight. So you have no, you don't really have any vantage point on any of them at the moment. So the options would be to go outside and see if there are more. And you can exit out through this front door here, because this is getting a little cramped.
Yeah, alright, I'll do that.
So you'll go outside this door right here. You can join up with, because there are a couple of other people here. There are some people on the streets, kind of, because this is where you are now. And there's some people. There's these two, some peasants. But you don't really have any visuals on any others at the moment.
Okay, well, I'll just use close to.
Sorry, what was that? It was cutting out. I'm not hearing you at all.
I said I could just use any remaining movement to get as close to one as possible.
Okay, so you're gonna start heading back this way towards the back, because that's where you heard the noise from.
Yeah.
You can choose to dash if you want to get up next to Lagon over here.
Sure.
Alright. And that'll give you more of eyes on those guys now, because they were obscured before. Back to the top of the round is Shay.
Can I get to the barmaid with a jellyfish on her face with 30 feet of movement and still have my action?
Yes, you can.
Alright, then I'm going to run up to her, draw my rapier as I go, and try and get that thing off her face.
Alright. You're going to use your rapier to try and slash it away from her face?
Yes.
Alright, make an attack roll.
That's a 1.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You are off balance. This is happening all at once, Shay, and you're a little caught off guard.
First fight. I don't know what's happening.
You don't know what's happening.
Along with that, Sanctuary drops when the warded creature makes an attack or casts a spell that affects an enemy creature.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Sanctuary would be bye-bye.
Does my natural one affect the thing I didn't hit?
You made a swing, and that counts.
Fair.
Do you have a bonus action or anything else?
Nope. That is it.
Next up is Darius. You're muted.
Sorry, I'm gonna run out. And so I see the red one on the barmaid's face.
Yep.
Do I see any others?
There's two more that are over here. There's a red one and a blue one. And then there are two blue ones over here next to the barmaid. And then, of course, the one that's on the barmaid's face.
Do I know, like, things these things might be afraid of? Like a noise or something these things might be afraid of?
I am going to give you a history check at advantage. This might be something that you have already encountered in your lifetime before.
gonna be a natural 19 for 19.
All right. You know that they're aberrant in nature. You know that they don't have any particular fears, however.
Uh,
So out of these three that are next to others, you have your pick of the litter.
yeah, I'm gonna try and run up and get the one off of the barmaid, if I can.
All right. Make an attack roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my rapier. That's a 1.
Oh, oh no. Poor Darius. You're just not on your game either today.
This poor barmaid.
This poor barmaid. Next up is River.
He's gonna also go out and try to get that one off the barmaid.
So when you get to right here, you see that she's right up against the ledge. The only way to get to her is to jump in the water and swim, because there is a water here. The other ones that would be close to you though would be this one here and this one here.
Okay, I'll just go for the closest one.
Okay, so
I'm
closest
gonna
one
use
is the river.
I'm gonna use my rapier.
All right, make an attack roll.
18.
That will do. Make me a damage roll.
5 piercing damage.
It's hurt. It's real hurt. But that one took a pretty big beating. So that's not gonna quite do it.
That'll be my turn.
All right, Lagon,
Okay.
you are right here.
Dang it. I know where I am. I wanted to do something, but I'll have to wait. Alright, I'm going to, use the Warhammer now to smash the one in front of me.
All right, make an attack roll.
$19 plus...
That'll hit.
Okay. That's a D8. 7 plus... Is that 2? So 9 points of damage to the one right in front of me.
Yep, that's a smush.
Alright. Well, not what I want to do, but who's that ran up beside me?
That's
Kinwin?
That's Kinwin right there.
Alright, unless you're an unwilling creature, I'm going to slap you and give you sanctuary, and then I'm going to move towards the next one.
All right.
Right up in its face.
All right. Next up is my turn. So, which are the red guys? Red guy number 1 is going to attack River. That's a 6.
That does not hit.
All right. Lucky you. Next is...
River just waves his cape and dodges out of the way.
Nice, very nice. Love me some flavor text. Next is our barmaid friend. She's going after Lagon for a 18 to hit.
Not gonna do it. So close.
Damn.
You left slime on my armor. How dare you?
And then... that ends that turn. And next up is Rune.
All right, so Rune is going to leave the tavern and join the rest of the group.
Go join the rest of the group outside.
Yep, outside. He just points out to the rest of the group. The red one devours intellect. And then he looks over at the barmaid and just sort of utters under his breath, inconvenient. And he's going to go towards the jellyfish on her face and rip it off of her. Is that something I can do?
If you want to jump in the water.
She's in the water?
No, she's next to the edge that is overhanging the water. Kind of got this big pot of stews cooking here. You have Shay and Darius who are kind of taking up the empty spaces next to her, and this jellyfish kind of taking up one space. And you're right here.
Seriously difficult for me to analyze the situation.
She is within 10 feet, though, if you have something you want to do.
Not without turning her into toast. Alright. Rune is gonna find something. Are there a set of jellyfish that are...
There's this one actually next to river that you can reach.
Okay. We're gonna go to that, and... yeah, we're just gonna smack it with the wrench.
Smack it with a wrench. Make me an attack roll.
Will do. Let's see. 12 plus 4, that's 16.
That'll hit.
Alright. And that's 1d8 plus 2, right? That's
Yep.
how that works?
Yep, it is.
Woohoo! 8, 9, 10.
That pops that one.
It just... Ugh.
That do it for your turn?
Yep, that's really all I can do at the moment. The rest of them are a bit too crowded for me to really do anything effectively.
Alright. Next is the blue guys. Blue guy number 1 is going after Rune.
He can try.
Natural 20.
He tried.
He ate his Wheaties this morning.
That is 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, Jesus. Alright.
And I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. So that is 7 total.
Okay. You are poisoned until the end of its next turn, which means that you have disadvantage on attack rolls.
Wrong. Wrong. I am not poisoned. I can't be poisoned. I'm immune. Oh, wait.
Oh.
You're immune to disease. You don't need to eat, sleep. Magic can't put you to sleep. Never mind. I guess I can be poisoned.
Okay. So disadvantage on attack rolls and skill checks until the end of its next turn.
Wait, I have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. Never mind. I need to roll that again.
Do it again.
And I have resistance to poison damage. My bad.
It's not poison damage, but it's the poison to condition.
Okay. There's my second roll. Sorry. I only rolled once the first time, so that's 17.
17? 17 will make it. You'll pass. You are not
Less
poisoned.
I'm not poisoned. I've never played a Warforged before.
Hey, Lamau.
Wee.
This guy is going after Lagan. That is 17 to hit.
Nope.
Alright.
Again, you slimed my armor. How dare you? Do you want to end up like your buddy?
How dare. Next up is Vanya.
She's going to move outside and
In which direction? Do you want to go outside this way, or do you want to go outside this way?
Outside that second way.
Second way? Okay. You are able to get right here with 30 feet.
And I'm going to fire an arrow at the one near Lagan.
Alright, make an attack roll.
4.
Arrow kind of slips out of your hand as you're trying to shoot it.
Watch where you're aiming.
I try.
Next up is Kinwin. You have eyes on this guy right here, and you have eyes-ish on this guy right here.
Can I get into melee range with one?
Yes, because right here would be more road. So, yes, you can get in melee.
How many times are we allowed to cast cantrips between rests?
At will. So, whenever you want.
Alright, I would like to cast the Shillelagh cantrip.
Okay.
And then attack with my quarterstaff.
Alright, then make me a spellcasting attack roll.
Sanctuary is gone.
It's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Roll me some damage for Shillelagh.
Six damage.
6 damage. That pops it. And so you are indeed about right here. Alright, so that does it for your turn. Well, I've not been rolling for NPCs, but or going for NPCs because I forgot. Most everyone. We've got Henry. We've got the captain that are coming around here to try and assist, but they're both kind of out of range. Townsfolk are fleeing from the area. Brings us back to Shay.
I'm gonna try again. Poor woman. Rapier.
Rapier.
Try and get it off her.
Yep.
Alright, that is going to be a 19 plus 5 to hit.
Ooh. Ooh. That is a hit.
And I get sneak attack because of Darius.
Yes. Darius is also in melee range.
That'll be 9. 9 piercing.
9 will pop the jellyfish. But you also see that the barmaid collapses.
Oh, that's my turn.
And
No.
she collapses incapacitated on the ground. You're not sure what's going on with her at the moment. And Darius.
I'm trying to see this map.
You are right here.
Yeah, where's the closest jellyfish?
Right here next to Rune.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of lean over a little bit if I can in between. Is there someone like right to me? What would be north of Rune?
That would be Shay right here.
No, next over.
Next one over is Rune.
Yeah. So right above that, who's in between?
That is River.
River. Okay. If
then
I can
that's
like
fine, yeah.
get up to like in between Rune and River and just like shoot in between them towards the jellyfish.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can
with
do
my
that.
short bow.
Yeah, you can do that from where you are even. So
Okay.
short bow would be an attack roll.
That's gonna be 15.
15 will hit. You get sneak attack. because Rune is within melee.
That's gonna be 9 points of damage.
And it pops.
That's all I got.
Alright. River, Lagan, are you doing anything?
Are there any more jellyfish?
There might be one out of sight, but you don't see it.
I'm going to move over to the lady that has collapsed
Mm-hmm.
and see if I can do anything to stabilize her.
Okay.
Medicine.
Medicine? Go ahead and make a medicine
Yeah.
roll.
Natural 20 plus 5, 25.
Ooh, snap. So, you inspect her. She's not breathing. And when you kind of look her over, you see that there is a large hole kind of bored into the back of her head. And there's kind of blood all over the ground now from where that was.
Look at Rune. When you said they devour intellect, you didn't say they devoured brains.
Apologies. I've only
Uh,
encountered these in certain scenarios.
Dipping my middle and ring finger in the hole, pull out the what's left of, and rub between my fingers. Such a waste. Damn it.
There is, in fact, one more on the map, so he is going to move a little bit more. You do hear screams coming from the other side of the building, though.
Then during River's turn, he would run that way.
Okay. And River's going to start running that way. Get about here. You would have line of sight from right here.
Is he within 30 feet?
Yes.
All right, Thornwhip. He's coming back to me.
All right, make an attack roll.
10.
10 is not going to do it.
I try.
Next would be Rune. You did hear that River was casting a spell out towards this way.
It's getting away.
Rune is going to go beside River. Does he have... No, around the corner. Does he have sight of the other one?
Yes, it's about 25 feet away from you.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Are there any flammable objects nearby?
Not particularly.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Firebolt.
Firebolt. That's an attack roll. Spellcasting
Yes, it
attack
is.
roll.
Well, ooh, nat 20.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Roll me some damage.
All right. Let's see. So that's 1d10.
It's normally 1d10. You make it 2d10, and then add your. No, Firebolt doesn't take a modifier, so it's just 2d10.
Wee. All right. So that's 8, and yeah. Sorry, floor dice. Let me roll a different one. 8 and 9.
8 and 9. That will kind of explode it in a pocket of steam.
Just wonderful.
People are still running, but it seems that they're all gone for the moment. And this barmaid is collapsed on the ground. And you have Henry and the captain running up to join you.
Is there any loose fabric people are not wearing around Lagan and the barmaid?
Most everybody has something of fabric on them.
Is she wearing an apron or something like that? He's trying to cover her up.
Yeah, she's wearing
Yeah,
an apron.
Shay will be helping. Shay wants to put her body in a respectable position.
He'll take her apron and cover her face with it. Looks over at Shay. Who are you?
Let's look up. Shay, Shakron, you can just call me, Shay.
I'm Lagan. Very large Goliath, standing, well, over 8 feet tall.
Very, very tall.
Chainmail and, well, no shoes. Looks down at you. I wish I could say it's been under more pleasurable circumstance, but, thank you for your help.
And yours too. She's just kind of like staring down at the dead barmaid, just like, I've never seen anybody die before.
You have now. It doesn't ever get any easier.
What happened? You hear the captain kind of running up.
She's no brain left. Do I know what these creatures are?
After looking over some of the remains, yeah, these are sea aberrations. Man-o-wars, people call them.
The red man-o-war ate her brains. Lagan holds up his left hand where he stuck it in the hole, and holds up the 2 fingers covered with blood and probably what little bits of brain or brain matter are left.
It's kind of
Shay
disgusting.
excuses herself. Yeah, Shay excuses herself.
Blood and fish guts. Damn it.
Besides the captain, is there anyone else, like any other towns approaching?
There's another Goliath, giant kin. Or there's Henry, whom you know from the ship, who's also approaching. But most other townsfolk have fled the scene.
I'm going to cast just minor illusion just to kind of cover the body more until figure out what we're gonna do in case some kid or something comes along. I'll just keep casting it.
Did anyone in the party or anyone in this group take any damage?
Rune. Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
DM ruling. Do Warforged heal like normal humanoids?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Rune approaches. There is some damage to the armor from, like, sort of like indents from where the
Thing kind of
scuffing.
smacked you. Yeah.
From where it smacked him, and
Right.
for the most part, he's wiping off the jelly from it. and he goes down and observes the downed red man of war, begins analyzing it.
Lagan will again attempt to use his knowledge of medicine on, after thumping to see if it rings hollow like a crystal glass.
It does.
Attempt to use medicine to see if he can heal or help Rune.
And Rune, you do feel that thunk against your metal skin.
My spells be of no help here.
He flips his head to Lagan. What are you doing?
I just had to see. Alright, medicine.
Rune. Go ahead.
12 plus 5, 17.
You look over. You see, as you're analyzing the scuffs, you see, like you would a scraped knee or a bruising on yourself, there's just this slight pulse of yellowish white energy. And when kind of analyzing it, you're definitely reminded of bruising. But it's metal.
Observes as the metal seems to materialize back into place, as it were, before he looks at Lagan. What magic is this?
Lagan, did you actually cast any magic?
No.
He was just doing a medicine check.
My bad.
No magic at all. That would have been Cure Wounds, and I'm kind of out of first level spells at the moment.
Okay, well, ad-lib, the retcon. Nothing happened. Nothing transpired.
Oh, actually, River comes up and just kind of pats Rune on the shoulder and casts Cure Wounds on him.
And it is indeed a hollowish pat. Almost like a muffled hollow ring to it. Like, it's not completely hollow, but it does have that bit of a ring to it. And Rune, when you look at the wound after River has given you a bit of a pat on the shoulder, a little bit of a word under his breath, you see that kind of pulsing light from your wound dissipates, and your metal skin, as it were, is made whole.
And he'll direct the "what magic is this" at River instead.
Wait, Rune doesn't count as a construct?
For the purposes of this game, no, I'm not considering him a construct.
You are injured, mi amigo. It's only natural to help those.
What are you?
He looks at the rest of the group, glances going
Natural,
around.
yeah, natural.
Natural is not the term I would use.
Healing spells do not affect on that.
I didn't quite hear that. What?
Our druid healing spells do not affect constructs or unnatural.
I'm not certain I am made of flesh and blood as you are, though.
You know, definitely something different.
Nevertheless, it is unfortunate circumstances. I am uncertain if my guildmaster will be meeting me here today under these conditions. Perhaps I can take you all to a different location if you wish to continue discussion.
Well, the ship might be getting out of the canal by now.
We should probably find someone to take care of the poor senora. He just kind of gestures to the body.
Lagon just kneels down and picks up the body and goes back to the bar to find the proprietor of the establishment.
For all you knew, she was the only one here.
I'm trying to see if there's anybody left in the bar, anybody else. And if not, trying to find where to take her body.
I'd assume the town guard will address it.
I assume nothing.
And shortly after, there is someone starting to come down the street who looks like he's in official garb.
I would like to grab the bodies of the sea creatures, bring them over to the water, say a little prayer, and then throw them in.
Easily done.
And Shay would like to, find a moment to kind of approach Rune and just say, thank you, by the way. Whatever magic you did back there when the jellyfish was way too close for comfort inside. I was worried for a second when it got pulled in, right beside me. So, thank you.
He is silent for a moment before he nods. It was the most logical decision in the circumstances. I could not get close and shield anyone.
Thank you all the same.
Except,
where do we have any idea where they came from? Like what? Like did they just fly up out of the sea just because they felt like
Where do
feline barmaid was on the menu?
That's usually what they tend to do.
Aberrations come from?
That's usually what they tend to do anyway. They tend to come out the water and looking for a tasty meal these days. I heard tale before that they're primarily attacking things that are unliving. Zombies, vampires, the cursed undead, whatever you want to call them. But coming up out of the water just to attack the living, that isn't necessarily something that goes on too frequently.
I was just wondering if this is something that happens regularly at the dock here.
It's not happened before. Maybe there's a ship that's going through that's carrying some unsavory materials. Or necromancers.
Can I have a quick look around to see if there are any suspicious characters lurking about?
Looking around, most everyone's gone except for that guard that's come up, and what the other giantkin that you see that has been kind of skulking around a little bit. Lagon, you would know this to be Henry. Darius, you would know this to be Henry. He's speaking to the guard about what happened.
Would I be wrong in assuming these creatures tend to attack further from shore than this?
Yes, they're usually at sea.
I've never seen one this close to shore. Our only experiences with them have been further out to sea.
And is out of balance. Perhaps that is affecting creatures as well.
Be.
At this point, Rune is also going to go ahead and take the initiative to speak with the guard, more or less give his report of the circumstances, and,
After saying that, Lagan will bring the barmaid's body to the guard and Henry.
Rune, I'd like you to make a persuasion check.
Persuasion? Oh no. Oh, that's not bad.
Better you than me.
Just straight up a 17. Flat 17.
Not bad, not bad. This particular guard has been eyeing you, much like the rest of everyone who's ever seen you before, but he seems willing to listen. He seems to trust your report as something that is truthful. He doesn't suspect any kind of foul play from you.
Yeah, and the report that Rune is giving is very, like, analytical, like, as if he was giving, like, straight up a police report, or how they would break that apart. It's just very much like, here is a straight, factual accounting of everything that transpired.
And after you give your account, you and Lagan, the guard starts telling all of you, we need you all to pack up and leave. This is now a investigation scene, and I'm gonna have to ask you all to leave.
Affirmative.
Have y'all ever had these men of war attack anyone before?
That's
Along
usually
the
out at
docks?
sea. On the rare occasion they come in through the canal, but it's rare.
How rare?
Once a moon? If that?
And what cycle is the moon in?
You
would I understand his meaning of time?
You would know that to mean somewhere around a month.
Okay.
In fact, I'd say it's even closer to once a season.
Once a season. Okay.
But never this many. As many as he sees are splats on the ground and on walls and things of that sort. Thank you for dealing with a hostile situation, and I have no further need of assistance. You may all leave, he says. And this is a tiefling gentleman.
Did Lagan understand Rune correct? Y'all are looking for passage somewhere?
That's true. Contact tribes.
You're breaking up.
I need to make contact with my sister tribes.
Rune, didn't you say that there was another place? You said we could meet your guildmaster or what have you.
Affirmative. I am uncertain of whether or not he would be accommodating for rooms, but perhaps he knows where we can find accommodations for yourselves. If you wish to accompany me, I extend an invite.
Vanya, what do you think?
It's worth looking into. I don't have a problem with pets. Yeah.
Lagan, your short stack of a captain, looks up at you. You coming back aboard, or you staying here?
Master Morgan had mentioned it It was coming on time for me to find my way for a bit ashore.
Well,
It pains me to say that I must take his advice and unfortunately depart for now.
well, the money is going towards the Kingdom of Argyll, so if you need to ride out that way, then that's where we're headed next, to Red Hawk Keep. But if you're going out west towards the Grioran Empire, we just came from there.
I don't know where the winds will take me, but if they happen to meet with you, by all means, anytime. And if you need help, Master Morgan knows how to get in touch with me.
You just see a kind of stoic nod come from the other giant, the other Goliath, who's got a little bit of a beard going on with a little bit of a bead at the end of it. He just kind of gives a nod and starts walking off.
Lagan just looks at him. One of these days, you're going to have to tell me how you grew the beard. It's an uncommon sight on our kind.
It is, and I keep it short for very good reason, of course. But, you're still too young. See you around, lad.
See you around. May the winds always be in your favor.
Well, wish us that in the morning, because that's when we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
If you're coming along, that's when we'll be.
Time will tell.
And the fairly short halfling with the bushy red hair and the pirate hat, and her Goliath companion with the little bit of a beard start to walk off towards where you know the other side of the canal is. The side going towards the Kingdom of Argyll. Which leaves the seven of you together.
Yeah, if we're starting to walk somewhere, I'd like to move up to the tiefling, which accompanied me, trying to get the jellyfish off the barmaid, since we both biffed it pretty bad when we first came up. She'll just kind of sidle up and say, seems we both had a tiny bit of a rough start there. I guess it was a little slipperier, more slippery than I anticipated.
Can say that again.
Well, here's to doing better in the future. Yes.
Yes, most definitely.
I'm sorry if you told me your name. I don't really remember it. I'm Shikron, but you can just call me Shay.
It's nice to meet you, Shay. I'm Darius.
Well met.
Just kind of looking around at this point and seeing I kind of like not to hi and then bye to Shay, but pretty much that's what happens, and I'm running.
She's still
back up.
awkwardly walking right beside you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't know what to say anymore.
I run up to Lagan. Guess I'm staying with you?
That's entirely your choice. You know where the ship is. You have lodging at least.
I think I'll stay. I want to make sure you're safe wherever you end up.
Lagan cocks his head and cocks an eye at you that way. Make sure I'm safe.
Uh-huh. I just, like, jokingly almost, like, go to punch you in the rib and then think better of it, and...
You're an odd duck, aren't you?
I've been called a lot of things. Duck has been, like, 7 of them.
How many times has the word odd been added to that?
We need to count.
Where are the rest of you fine folks off to?
We're going to the establishment of my guildmaster. The guild is called the Old Iron Salesmiths. I will see if I can accommodate some new form of lodging with the assistance of Guildmaster Ironhand or the rest of this group.
Well,
You're
I
welcome
wouldn't
to
mind
come.
meeting your guild master, but as far as lodgings and other things, I can find for myself if I need to. But I wouldn't mind meeting.
After such a traumatic experience today, wouldn't it be better to, at least share a drink with everyone?
Dramatic.
What ship? Your ship, Captain. What is the name of your vessel?
The Ambani. Captain Charlotte Badger.
Are these names familiar, Coffee?
History check.
That is going to be a 2 + 5. So, no. I was wondering. my hopes here was under the pretenses that Ironhand would have told me whether or not he worked on that ship at all.
Doesn't ring a bell. Must not be a very popular ship. But then again, there's lots of ships that go through these waters that get escorted and are escorts for other vessels, so...
It's popular enough it gets work from Ionia and everywhere across the archipelago.
Do not recognize the vessel.
Not required. But if y'all seek passage, they leave on the morn. They leave with the tides in the morning, so... arrangements can be made if necessary.
Understood.
It's a fine vessel, I promise.
Your
I
captain...
wouldn't have lived for over 20 years on a ship that wasn't.
Sorry, sir. Are you okay?
Whom?
She's talking to the Goliath. Sorry, can't remember your name.
Lagan. Yes, and as I said, he's a giant in chainmail and bare feet.
Are you okay?
I'm quite well, thank you. Why do you ask?
You just sound so sad.
Wouldn't you be if you were leaving your home? the only home you'd ever known?
Well, I mean, that's why I'm asking if you're okay.
Yes, I'm fine. It does sadden me to be leaving home. As I said, I wouldn't live on a ship that wasn't sturdy and sound for over 20 years if it weren't. Land don't roll right. Bit uneasy.
Okay, well, sorry, I'm not trying to be a bother.
Not a bother. Just curious. I've never met anyone that seemed to be so in tune with my emotions as with their own.
Yeah, she's pretty good at that, and Vani's just going to reach over and give a small pat in the head.
Because she's
And
small.
you are? Lagan looks to you, and you are?
Anya.
Lagan. A pleasure.
Mir.
Where are y'all from? Vanya, Shay, where are y'all from?
Colcaster.
Small village near there.
Hmm.
I'm also from Colcaster. However, I find comfort in any location that is.
Do y'all know each
Shows.
other?
I was actually curious, Rune, what part of Colcaster, if you don't mind my asking?
Coffee, I need help.
You've stayed in several different places there. You didn't stay there for too long. Maybe
No.
a year or two, kind of bouncing between houses. Mostly in the Earth District. There's the Cloud District, which is the upper portion of this one mountain that this particular place resides.
We've been to the Cloud District very often.
And then there's the Earth District,
course
which
you
is
do.
the lower portions, which is often considered the poorer side of town.
From the Earthen District.
I not as familiar with that area myself, but in many ways I've heard it could be better.
He doesn't necessarily have a response to that. But he turns to Lagan. If you do not wish to join your crew, what is your
What?
intent?
Beyond sleeping and potential travel, Master Morgan says it's time for me to find my own way for a while.
Would you like to make money before your departure?
A little coin is always a pleasant sight.
That perhaps you would like to join us as well.
What do you say, Darius?
I think that's a wonderful idea, and I want to, when I hear them say coin is a good thing, I want to, magic trick coin from behind the ear to Rune.
But from behind
Even though I don't
these
see,
quote-unquote
even
ear.
though I don't see an ear, but
Yeah, he just pulls it from out underneath his hood, ta-da! And Rune is just like, "Where?" No reaction.
I would actually kind of like you to make a sleight of hand check just to see how well you pull this off.
And hey, Coffee, would we be able to take a short break? Just curious.
Yeah, we're gonna close up unless you guys have more that you want to do.
Natural 20
Oh,
for a 27.
He
hey.
does it really cool, and just Runa's like, no reaction whatsoever. Unamused.
All right.
You're gonna teach me that one of these days, little man.
I do the same behind Lagon's. Oh, I try to reach behind his.
Your
Hey,
man
watch what
barely
you're
gets...
grabbing there.
It's easy. You just. I kind of do like that coin roll between the.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely smooth doing it too.
I will squish it out of you one of these days.
You can certainly try.
Before they get too far, Vanya will be whistling for Zephyr.
Oh yeah, Zephyr's
in them.
following you too, which
And all they see is like this smaller gray wolf-like dog come trotting up and starts walking between her and Shay.
completely forgot about Zephyr.
Why for a little bit?
Best boyo.
Lagon,
Best
seeing the
boy.
dog, will kneel down and let the dog smell him.
Well, then the next thing you know, Zephyr got his front paws up on you, trying to lick at your face.
He is a good dog.
Like I said,
Good boy,
best
Chris.
doggo.
And on that note, we're gonna take a short break. Be back soon, everyone. As we got off to a late start, but we'll come back here in a moment with more Rebirth. Welcome back, everyone, to Rebirth, Session 1. After dealing with some rather hostile-looking jellyfish, man-o'-wars, as Captain Badger has called them, the party has decided to find someplace else to find lodging. And after doing a little bit of contacting with Orman Rune, you've also had him coming back to this particular place as well, since Bilgewater no longer had a barmaid. So that is where we stand at the moment, and all of you are now in front of the Tumbled Wench. Probably one of the most impressive and popular of the taverns that you've seen in your days. Most cities that call themselves cities have a tumbled wench. Shay, you would know that a lot of the headquarters kind of overhead and overseeing comes from the Grioran Empire, where this is another one of their international businesses that's branched out into other places in the world.
Bar chain.
A bar chain, reaching as far as Mesomaska and beyond.
She kind of breathes a sigh of relief when she sees it. Ah, familiar.
You see the familiar iconography of a barmaid with a stein in her hand, nearly tumbling over herself, big bushy hair, kind of a stumbling over her dress. But that familiar icon, it feels like home. And when you enter, this is a larger tavern than the Bilgewater. Certainly seems like it has more than one floor. It has maybe 2 or 3. The bottom floor being a very large and spacious, not so cramped sort of dining area. The upper floors you assume to be lodgings. The upper floors of the Buildwater, when you looked on it from the outside, seem to have very little in the way of space. So, all of you, when you arrive, definitely feel that this is more spacious. And you see that there is a woman at the bar, kind of tawny skin, big bushy blonde hair, much like the icon on the outside of the the overhead kind of sign. Even though the sign was without color, you kind of get the sense that perhaps she's supposed to look like the icon. And so this human dark-skinned woman, she kind of smiles at you brightly, and kind of looks at all of you. Well, what a large group. What you needin'?
We're here to meet with another of our group. I believe his name should be on the list already. Orman Ironhand.
Oh. Orman is, and she kind of looks around the big kind of dining area. You see that there are a couple of other individuals who are seated at other places, but Orman, whom you know, she points out, and she says, "It's right over there," and what you see, all of you, when you're directed towards that area, is you see a rather short individual with a pair of, seems like, goggles on the top of his head, big bushy white hair, kind of a bulbous nose, and very stout features. You kind of look him over as he's kind of fiddling with something in his hands, kind of cocking his head a little bit. You do see like slight little points on the ends of his ears. Is that a gnome? You've hardly seen any gnomes. Is that a gnome? He's just fiddling with something in his hands, kind of looks like he's working on something, kind of has a screwdriver kind of poking out the side of his mouth, and it seems like screws on the other side, kind of holding them between his lips, his rather thin lips, but he's got a bit of his sideburns seem to attach to his chin, but don't meet in the middle.
Rune nods at the barmaid. My thanks. We will seat ourselves with him.
Is there a gnome? Has the Gon ever seen a gnome?
Would
Unlike...
Grandma have told me?
Sorry, what?
Would Grandma have told me about any gnomes? Any, like, what happened to the gnomes and...
Grandma's told you about the gnomes.
I'm actually curious. Would I have heard anything about Rune's guild?
Make a history check for me.
23.
It's a smaller guild. It's not a hugely wide branching kind of industry, much like the things that house their headquarters in Colcaster. You think maybe it's specific to the archipelago? Maybe it's reached to Colcaster, but that's probably as far as it goes. Elsewhere in the country, you've never heard of this guild.
Okay. Yep. Yes, go ahead. I was just curious if basically if they were a major player or what. So, thank you.
You would know that this guild specializes in steam power, not arcane power, like Paragon.
Lagan, that's a gnome.
Yeah. What about it?
That's rare. Very strange sight to see.
My years on board the Bonnie, I've never seen one. I've heard tale of them, but I've never seen one.
Rune makes his way over to the table when he notices that the party is just kind of like whispering amongst themselves, turns back, and sort of like sidesteps in their direction. Are you coming?
Lagan is following you, but yes, having a quiet conversation with Darius.
Shay is following as well.
Very well.
Is Vanya?
Kinwin River?
Yep. I'm just following along.
Hello as well.
And as you approach Rune, you see that he's fiddling with some kind of small machine of some kind. You're not entirely sure what it does, but it's definitely made of metal. And he kind of takes the screwdriver from his mouth and starts twisting on something, kind of checking it over, kind of pulls down his goggles for a second to look it over, and then notices with big bulbous eyes with these with these goggles over his face. He's like, "Oh, you, yes, hi."
Good afternoon, Guildmaster.
And he kind of puts the goggles back on the top of his head. Sorry about, earlier.
I understand you're an industrious man. Business is what it is.
Yes, industrious is a word. Is definitely a word I would use. And who are all of these people?
Travelers I met along my journey.
Sorry.
Please. Now is the most appropriate time for introductions.
Yes, please. Introductions.
I am River. We've ran into Rune over at Bilgewater.
Oh.
Some unfortunate things happened.
Oh, that's... It's a good thing I didn't go over there then. It's a good thing that I got lost in my work then. What happened at Bilgewater Rune?
Man of War
Oh,
killed the barmaid of the Bilgewater.
oh my goodness. Oh, wait. Those things are, frightening. Yeah, well, we'll just put it that way.
Indeed.
I've never seen him this close to shore.
Me neither. That's interesting.
I am Lagan, by the way.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Orman.
A pleasure, Master Holman.
Just Orman. It's fine. Like, fancy whatnots and who does it and all of that sort of thing just doesn't fit me. Just Orman.
appearance is just Orman.
He's funny. Where did you find that? Where did you find that one? He's huge.
Were you not listening? We've met each other all at the Bilgewater.
Right. I'm just excitable. They call me excitable.
Are gnomes as excitable as you?
Maybe.
You don't know.
It's been a while. Yes.
Judging by stories, quite a while.
Yes, quite a while. Quite
That-
some time.
Could you define a while?
When was He starts to mutter something in Gnomish. Anybody know Gnomish? And then kind of counts on his 4 fingers, 3 fingers and a thumb, a little bit, and 97.5 years. Give or take a month. It's been that long since I've been to Oct, yes.
It's been a while indeed.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it's been that long. And the rest of your names?
Anya.
Shikron. You just call me Shay.
Shay.
Silverwolf, children of Earth.
Ooh. And you, Purple Man?
Darius.
Pleasure to meet you all. This is quite a large group you've mustered up here, Rune. I didn't expect 7.
The amount was unprecedented.
Sure.
However, I can vouch for all of their skills and utility.
Ooh, I like utility. Well, getting down to business. You were in the business for something, yes?
Correct. I believe... Cece, I need a little backstory myself. The reason why, to my understanding, Orman was requesting Rune's assistance with work.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a back and forth.
Yeah.
And he hadn't really expressed it just yet, so he was...
Okay, so...
That's the whole reason for the meeting, really.
The bookkeeping. All right. He looks to Orman, and seats himself. To my understanding, you requested my assistance with certain contracting work that you needed to take care of.
Right. That's a whole thing. Yes. You know that I'm in the business of crafting things out of metals. And, well, metals are not exactly the most common item to find in the archipelago. And, well, you're kind of made of metal. I imagine that you would more or less know how to acquire such things. But the most important thing that I think I want to know about you is, what are you?
That seems to be the question of the day.
Cause just, he gets up from his seat, and he's rather short. He's about 3.5 feet tall.
I imagine he's like standing on the chair.
he kind of gets down from his seat and kind of comes over to the seat where you are and starts kind of circling you about a little bit as you're facing the table, kind of getting an understanding of what it is that you are made of. And all of you looking at Rune's back and at his front, you do see that there are little etchings in some of the corners of the armor that he's wearing, in a language no one understands. None of you understand.
Can I insight check Ormond? I'm just curious. Is his walk around kind of predatory around Rune?
Make an insight check.
$21.
More curiosity than anything else.
Okay, good. Just
Doesn't seem to be shady in any way. He just seems rather curious. And looking at some of the things that are kind of attached to his hip, you do see that that Ormond does have a wand on his belt, but also a hammer, some screwdrivers, some other tools, another little pouch. You see that he's wearing a leather vest rather than maybe something made of cloth. That he's generally seems like the type that would work with his hands, but with intricate things. Given that he's got very tiny fingers. Well, I was curious about something that might actually be right up your alley, Rune, since I've had very little in the way of how do you put it? Arcane training. And there's this kind of giant crystal on the other end of the island that seems to speak words to people. Do you think you could check it out for me?
It is most unusual, but I would gladly take upon this venture.
Well, I the reason I say that is because I think it would make a very good thing to power things with, like arcane power does, and maybe Paragon would be interested in it. I don't know.
I was about to ask if instead you were seeking to rival Paragon in the industry, if magic is what you were invested.
Oh my. Rival Paragon? They're an international business, my boy. I don't think there's any rivaling of Paragon.
Right. What do you know of this crystal thus far, beyond it simply speaking?
Well, a couple of the farmers who are kind of out that way have described it as rather haunting. That you ask it questions and it kind of answers back in a that kind of a voice.
Rune's eyes
Oracle?
dilate.
Like, did the rumors say it'll answer any question?
Supposedly.
Anyone found out whether the answers are true or...
I mean, they're farmers. They've been asking about the weather.
And the answer?
That it's getting warmer. Which is very good, because about 100 years ago we nearly froze. So farming in the archipelago was actually very, very difficult back then. But things are better now. According to
Okay.
scientists, according to arcanists, according to just about everyone you meet.
So y'all didn't have any winter wheat or winter rye in the archipelago, huh?
No. No, the archipelago basically sustains itself on its own food, and the winter rye, you said, doesn't exactly grow very well here.
If everything's frozen over, it does.
Yeah, well, maybe in a place like like Ionia or Shadowheart, you know, the old frozen wastes up there, but not in the archipelago, no. But it never got exported here, I guess. But fishing was hard too. Anyway, yes, investigate that sort of thing. That's what I want to know. Is it hostile? Is it, am I going to get burned to bits if I were to ask it a question it didn't like? I don't know.
Are we supposed to go find this out for you?
Oh well, Rune did say that he was looking for work, so that's the closest thing that I have at the moment.
I am to assume that, if possible, you want us to bring a sample back.
As many as you can, if you can.
There's more than one.
Well, it's a rather large kind of crystal structure, kind of just jutting out of the rocks, and there's little bits and pieces that have been that are growing in other rocks, kind of around the surrounding area, and according to the farmers, you try to pick one up, it's too heavy.
So it is a vein. Interesting.
Possibly, because. But not many other gems, when you go mining for them, actually resist you picking them out of the dirt.
Interesting.
Well then. Orman,
Mm-hmm.
I have to request. I brought you the hands that you needed. But in return, what can we offer them? I've suggested that we could find them lodging for the evening.
Of
We've all
course.
had a difficult day.
Of course. Rooms are on me for tonight, for the tumbled wench, because they have the best rates, they always do. That's what I can do for that. In that regard, maybe dinner. Has everybody had dinner yet?
No,
Not yet, no.
dinner would be fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, forward.
Dinner grog. That's what they serve here, with bread and cheese. It's actually very delicious.
And then, what of also the cut for their pay?
Oh, right. Coin. Upon delivery of samples, I will, depending on the size of the sample, I will offer 5 gold each. I have that much in my coffers right now.
Rune looks to the rest of the group. Is this an acceptable arrangement?
When you say 5 gold each,
Mhm.
what size of crystal are you expecting?
About that size. Or bigger. I don't want little teeny little scraps. I want a good size sample that I could then do what I need to with.
About that big.
Mhm.
Lagon's thinking in his head for diamonds that he's aware of. Is that roughly 100 gold, or is that more for the equivalent of a diamond with the crystal he's asking?
For raw gems,
Yeah.
raw gems about that size, depending on the gem. Quartz, quartz, you're thinking something. Quartz or amethyst, you're thinking something around 5 to 10. But ones that big that are diamond raw, you're probably looking at
Listen.
200 at least.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. Is several hundred gold pieces worth of diamond in size.
Because you've dealt with gems and raw materials and everything like that before, and raw and polished.
Okay.
Yes. From what I understand, it is not a terribly valuable gem or crystal. It's just heavy.
Do those smaller pieces answer questions too?
No, just the big cluster. Just the big one.
What if chipping away at it kills it?
Well, we won't know until we do.
Curious hypothesis. Worth investigating.
I'm certainly interested in just going to have a look at it on a basis, regardless of whether samples can be had or not.
As am I.
Who knows? It might even be a source of residuum. I don't know yet. I haven't had a professional look at it as of yet. But I prefer not to go out in that direction. There tends to be wildlife. I don't like wildlife.
Right.
So, was there... Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, what was your question?
I said, does it want to eat you?
The
wildlife.
The wildlife always wants to eat me, yes. Especially some things of aberrant nature. Like those man-o-wars you were talking about. I'm not exactly keen on seeing any of those at some point.
Go down to the docks.
I am going to stay away from the docks, then. I'm glad I was not there tonight. That would have been a rather grim sight indeed.
You were saying, Shay?
Well, I was just wondering if there's dangerous wildlife, if there would be any hazard pay included.
Hazard pay?
I mean, it just seems, in all fairness, that, if it's information we wanted and we're going to go and get said information, potentially samples as well, and there are dangerous monsters to be had, some of us could lose limbs. That could impact our ability to find work later. So, hazard pay.
I think the only people who would have any problems with aberrations, as they're called, things that have lingered since 100 years ago or so, that it would only be her, and he points to Vanya, that maybe has an issue with the man-o-wars, or other aberrations of any kind.
Why does Vanya seem to be the only person who'd have an issue?
Well, maybe
Here
him.
I'm standing all of 5'2".
Maybe him too. He kind of points to Kinwin too. Anyone who are descendants of fayish creatures.
Why does that matter?
Well, don't you know the stories? Aberrations hate Fae.
Well, okay, so hazard pay for them then.
Oh, well, possibly. If you sustain injuries and there's there certainly will be more compensation. I don't exactly run a very lucrative business.
I mean, I would maybe just suggest, like,
Shay,
what?
is it? You do not need to be concerned about hazard pay. Keep myself in front of the group, and there will not be any hazards.
You mentioned the prospect of food and drink.
Yes.
And rooms.
Yes, food, drink, and
I don't
rooms.
necessarily care for anything but a bite to eat and somewhere to lay my head.
All of which I will accommodate. It's the least I can do.
I do appreciate that, sir. And Lagan is just going to sit down on the floor because he'll be at table height that way.
And you see that that he kind of waves at the barmaid. She nods at him, and you can assume that food and drink is going to be brought. Probably the one food and the one drink they have.
That's fine. Again, like I said, Lagan is just going to sit straight on the floor to be at the same table height as this man.
And yes, I will pay you for samples, if you can manage to get them. That's the least I can do for you all taking on this endeavor, and I'm a tinkerer. I'm not exactly the most, adventure built, like some of the others of note of my kind.
You said these samples you're asking are quite heavy. Do you have any idea as to how heavy?
No, because everyone that's ever talked about trying to lift a sample or even just pull some of the protruding rock out of the ground seems to resist, like it doesn't want it to be grabbed.
Like it has a mind of its own?
Maybe. It looks very lightweight, but when you try and go lift it, no one can. Just even the little chunks.
Interesting.
I'm sure inquisitive minds such as yourselves have a desire to go and look for such things.
I mean, if it answers questions, it's probably alive. Why wouldn't? I mean, makes as much sense as anything.
Well, Lagan will lift his warhammer. This smashes lots of things.
Into little pieces, I'm sure.
Well, you could go see what's left of the man of war splattered across the docks, but yeah.
I think I would rather not.
It can't harm you no more. It's dead.
Still, I'd rather stay plenty.
You don't even investigate the dead things?
I'd rather stay plenty of feet away from those things, if at all possible, if I'm honest.
I guess.
You are a big man.
Threw them in the ocean.
And you're a very wee man.
What was that, Mr. Kinwin?
I threw them in the ocean. They're corpses.
Oh. Alright, still. I would rather not. Well, I will go order you rooms. How many rooms?
I would like one.
I can share with Shay.
That's one.
One.
I will take my own room, as I do.
Two.
me and River can probably share.
Okay. So is it 4 then?
Yeah, I would assume so. Do they have beds large enough to accommodate someone of my size?
Possibly. It's not often that giant kin such as yourself uh come through these parts, I don't think, but I could ask. And he gets up from his seat again and goes towards the counter at the front of the tavern, leaving you all again.
Rune makes direct eye contact at Shay, and he says very quietly, kind of leaning into her, I understand you have your apprehensions. However, I will not have you exploiting my employer. If you do not wish to take the job, then you have every opportunity to leave.
Understood.
Very well. I will take my leave to the room once it is ready. And Rune gets up, joins up front with Orman for a moment, figures out what room he is, and then heads upstairs.
All right. And Orman comes back to you all with the other 3 keys, and kind of smiling at you all and thanking you for the help. Well, I have things to get back to. You all have a great night and enjoy dinner. I've gone ahead and ordered and paid the woman. So
Thank you.
You don't have to worry about nothing. Hope you enjoy. Goodbye. And he
Adios.
and he starts to walk out of the tavern, leaving you all to go to your rooms.
Lagan will head upstairs and remove his armor.
So is everyone intending for a long rest? Is there any scene, any sidebars that anyone wants to have at the moment?
Nope. Shay just wraps herself up completely and totally head to toe in the bed, goes to sleep.
All right.
As Lagan's falling asleep, I want to use minor image to just make the sound of the waves of the ocean.
Oh, like a minor illusion?
Yeah, minor illusion.
Okay. To kind of lull you
Just-
both to sleep?
Yeah, just because you can use it to do sounds as well, and so yeah, I just the white noise of
the waves.
the ocean. Yeah.
Easily done. And Lagan is near instantly, as soon as you turn on a little bit of that noise, is instantly asleep. And that is where we are going to end the session for today. Where you all will get a long rest when we reconvene next time, and you'll depart to where it is that you're going in the morning. But this completes our session.
Pale Dragon, I gotta express, Rune isn't trying to, I as a player, I'm not trying to shut you down.
Cool.
Rune is just actually
cool.
excruciatingly lawful. And
No, it's great. She's not gonna argue with the big, fully plated whatever. She's just like, she's just like, I don't think, there's a lot of other things going on here. He wants these samples. Okay, he's gonna pay us 5 gold for these samples, but we're going all the way out there. There are apparently monsters. He's not being particularly specific, and the thing talks. There's a lot of frickin'
It talks, it resists being picked up, it becomes extremely heavy.
Yeah, understandable. He's not trying to he's not trying to be an asshole on purpose. He's very like
just
let's
built that
just
way.
get to business. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
very business.
He's
Nope,
just built
it's
that
fine.
way.
Message heard. Clear and crystal.
Built different. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Okay.
Well, we do have some end of session bookkeeping to do. So, everybody at the table gets 5 experience for attending.
Hey!
Because
Yay.
we do experience a little bit differently here on my show because because experience is arbitrary anyway, and I want to reward my players for the things that they do anyway. So, for beating all of the mana wars, I will award another 10 experience.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's for beating the mana wars. That's for meeting up with Ormond. That's for finding a new quest. So there's all of that, and then we have the one experience for a single player who granted by their fellow players for roleplay categories. So we do have 3 roleplay categories. Who pushed a plot the furthest?
Rune.
I'd say Rune. Rune.
Yeah.
Ruined.
Thank you.
Yep.
My nature of just having things to do.
Yay! You get 1 experience extra, Rude.
I accept.
Who had the best scene? I mean, we all kind of had the one scene together, but who had maybe your favorite portion out of all of it?
That's... My favorite was reaching over and thumping. Where Rune would ring like a bell. That's just me, though.
That was pretty good.
I'll go with that one.
I'm gonna throw my hat in my opinion towards Shay for just like being able to pinpoint Lagan being a sad man.
Yeah, I like that too.
Ooh.
I was like, oh, what is this? What is this chemistry that just occurred?
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you? Why can't I do 7 responses for a poll, goddammit?
What? Are you okay?
Are you okay? Love it.
What are you?
So, are we doing Lagan? And Black Wolf, if you can, do 7 responses on the poll. That would be great, because I want to do an audience favorite, because that's another way that I want to give out experience. But yeah, so it's Lagan. Is it Lagan getting the best scene then?
I'm voting Lagan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll vote for
I'm
Lagan.
good with that.
Lagan gets that extra experience. Who had our best line of the night?
I that total 180 head twist. What are you doing?
Oh, you mean this one? Yes.
What are you doing?
I like that. Or again, the Shay of why are you sad?
Both of those were pretty good.
I'm gonna say that Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I would say give it to Shay since we're in a
Mm.
Yeah.
Shay.
I'm willing to concede.
All right, to Shay it goes.
Thank you, guys.
That's your extra experience. And then we're trying to get an audience favorite vote going, but
Time to determine where to put experience.
yep. In general, how experience is going to work for players is that leveling up is 10 times the new level. So, for instance, leveling up to level 2 is going to be 20 total. So we're almost there, but not quite. Yeah, I don't see enough vote slots either. So what I'm going to ask is for this one, for this particular one, I'm going to say that audience members can put the name of their favorite character in the chat, and then we'll tally it up and do it that way for this time. So,
I have a question. Where do we put experience? Because I don't see.
on the Roll20, when you open up your character sheet, there
Yeah.
is the the little gear next to like all of your names and stuff on the top right.
Yeah.
There's a spot for experience points. That's where you can put it.
I see now.
Yep. But yeah. So audience, who's your favorite for tonight? And get all of that going. Type it
wonder
in
if there's,
chat.
like, some sort of special programming you can do where it's like you can do it like an emote, and then it'll just slowly tally it up in another.
I mean, if you type in the name with the capital letter of their first name, then it's going to give an emote anyway. So we'll tally it up by emotes on BTTV. Because you can see up there in the chat that we have a Vanya we have 2 rune emotes in there now, you know, and if you have the BTTV extension, it'll show up as emotes, or you can just check the chat above us. But yeah.
What?
Yes, in BTTV, I have all of your character faces as emotes when they use the first. And for Shay, it's just capital SHAY, as because SEA was too short, so I had to do 4 characters. So it's SHEY for Shay, or SHAY for Shay, so that we can get Shay's emote in there if we wanted to. But we've got one for Vanya. We've got 2 for Rune so far. And we'll give it a little bit more for those of us still doing that. But how did we enjoy the session today?
It's good.
It was fun.
I'm glad.
I enjoyed
It's
it.
great.
We couldn't save the barmaid.
I do
I'm
feel bad about that.
determined. I'm determined to save an NPC in peril.
I don't know that if I had gotten there on the first turn that she survived. I think she was gone no matter what we did.
I think you're right. I think that had already, like, it was already in her brain. It already had her, but like.
See,
E
the
for
way I'm
everyone.
thinking, I think
E
that
for
ship had
effort.
already sailed.
Oh my God, we're getting a
Didn't
raid
say
from
the
Aldrith.
creature either.
We're getting a raid from Aldrith D&D. Thank you guys so much for raiding. Hello.
Yes.
We're just about finishing up here, everybody. But we're probably going to end up raiding another D&D channel that I know very well, who actually ran the prequel to this campaign. But you guys can always check out the VOD here on Twitch or even on YouTube. Because !YouTube, I do have a channel which you can check out all the VODs that I post. But yeah, welcome in, guys, because we're just finishing up. We're just doing a little bit of wind down here as we're finishing. But thank you guys for coming along. Yeah, I hope everybody in my cast enjoyed the session. How did you guys like everything so far? Is it interesting? It's not boring?
Yes. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm
good.
just like, I'm so anxious. Playing a lawful character is really hard for me, actually.
I think
You are
wait,
goblin energy incarnate, and I understand this so hard, Spectre.
Chaos is my thing, so
Yes.
you want to be straight, that's fine.
Rune is the straight and narrow.
Chaos is kind of my thing too. It's been a week. It really has been.
Oh, yeah.
And we're still warming up to our characters and to our characters knowing each other and things of that sort, because you guys are
I'm
just learning about each other now.
Yeah.
So it's
I drank a 5-hour like right before you went live, and like 2 hours later, it's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stop working.
I'm still trying to find Lagan's voice.
That's
Oh my god.
perfectly fair. I butchered accents doing
I-
doing it too.
I'm having fun. That's all I care about.
I made a different voice for Captain Badger, and I made a different voice for Orbit, even though
Yeah,
though it was a little bit of a blindside to throw him into the whole mix in the beginning. I ran with it. It's fine.
That's
See,
what
and
we do.
I have this horrible trait of I hear like just any accent that's not what I'm used to, and I pick up on it.
Right.
So
you start.
then, yeah,
Yep. Start talking
yep.
like that too.
Huh?
Samesies.
Darius was a little bit of an Irishman for a couple minutes.
But you know,
I'm
Darius
just trying really
is
hard to do Spanish.
Darius is also the
love
kind of guy who's probably had to blend in a lot in his life.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mimicry
He's probably very good at mimicking voices.
gets you very far. It makes it where you don't stand out so much, and well, as the Japanese say, the nail that stick out is the one to get hammered. So
Well, I think since we're wrapping up here, we're gonna do some shout outs, because we do have a couple of content creators who do content on their own channels or other channels. We're gonna start with Pale Dragon. My dear, what you got coming up in the near future?
Well, I've got my D&D games on Monday and Wednesday. Those are picking back up this coming Wednesday. So those will be started every week, which is every Monday and every Wednesday. Playing some D&D 5e.
Very nice, very nice. What kind of a game do you run?
I like I have some homebrew settings, so it's a homebrew world, homebrew pantheon, and I will say that the two games are both, they are related, the two worlds are related, but nobody knows how yet. The Wednesday game has no concept of stars or moon. There is no such thing as plane shifting, and nothing that dies ever stays dead. And then Monday's world is a little more typical, where magic is illegal due to religious rhetoric, and the gods were made from mortal men.
Ooh, I like. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. They should definitely go check it out and check all of that out. Next up, Dark Wolf, you do some content creation sometimes. What do you do?
Yes, I do. I stream. I have a VTuber. I play video games mostly, and then I can also be found on the Hero Zone doing paint or other things.
Got anything special coming up in the near future?
No, just me trying to get back into regularly streaming because I had to take over the Hero Zone for a month.
Oh right, yeah, that's
So I haven't streamed on my channel at all. So just some video games.
Yep, just some video games. Spectre, you doing any streaming anytime soon?
As of right now, no, and I'm also all full up on commissions at the moment. However, into the future, once I clear those out a bit, I may have some more available slots for commissions to take again. Hello, by the way, I'm Spectre Deflector. I am a community artist and
Yes.
player.
Yes, they are definitely
Mhm.
a wonderful community artist. We appreciate
Thank
them
you.
so much. But that about does it for all of our content creators and that sort of a thing. So we're gonna go and see about raiding somebody. Let's see who we're gonna raid.
Raid train.
Raid train again.
Choo choo.
Again, thank you guys so much from Aldrith D&D for raiding into us. We are definitely very appreciative of that. We're gonna go and raid. Let's see if Maddie's online. Is Maddie online?
Should
Yes,
be.
he is.
Okay, let's go check out the Hero Zone, the friendly local game store on Twitch, and it looks like Maddie's doing some painting. So we're gonna go check out. The Hero Zone. Again, because he created basically the base template for this world, and we're just playing in the rest of it. So let's go give him a good howdy do, and until then, take a night, everybody.
Until next week.
Alright.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Rest well.